Let's talk about the ever so exciting topic of password complexity. But let's not only talk about how to create a complex password, let's illustrate how this discussion with our users can help create an understanding of some of our other cybersecurity principles. Older cybersecurity standards made password creation difficult. They had to include so much gibberish that you couldn't remember them. We made them change the password periodically. And then, heaven forbid, you kept your password in a place where you could actually use it in the workforce or that was convenient for you in your personal life. The current standards emphasize password length, some sort of long phrase that it's easier for you to remember. Now, there are industry standards that require some gibberish put into a password, but that's okay. As long as we're starting with a longer phrase, we can show users how they are easier to remember. So the focus today is we're going to show how to create a password. This could be for training your relatives, training senior executives in your organization, or maybe training other professionals on your team who don't have cybersecurity as their primary role. When I'm speaking with users that have to create a complex password, I try to use an approach not citing a whole bunch of standards. I don't want to talk to them about cryptology. I don't want to talk about entropy. I just give them a simple approach using a rule of fours. I ask them, do you know four-letter words? If so, put four of them together. And usually that helps illustrate how easy it is to make a longer phrase. If you knew four-letter words and put them together, that's 16 characters. But if I just put four words together, in this case, green witch, purple dragon, now I have 22 characters. If I include the spaces, now I have 25 characters. The point is, create a memorable, nonsensical phrase that's not related to your workplace, not related to your local sports teams, not related to you, anything about you or your account, just four random words that you're going to be able to remember. If you're creating a password for a system that requires some gibberish, don't become overwhelmed. Just pick four. My favorite is to put a typographical error in the passphrase. Include a capital letter, use a space if you can, and then a character or a number. And if you put it all together, you can still see how Green Witch Purple Dragon is a long passphrase, has some of the required gibberish for any system that asks for it, but is also easy to remember. And that is the key. It should be easier to remember. Now that we've created our complex password, this is a great place to have a conversation about some of the other password tools. There's password managers, there's tools that are already on your devices, there are multi-factor authentication apps, and part of this conversation should be to explain what these items are. A password manager takes all of your loose keys and organizes them and protects them from unauthorized access. When you're picking a password manager, it doesn't really matter which brand you use. There are many password managers to choose from. When selecting a password manager, I encourage the users to make sure that it's something that they can use intuitively, and then it goes where they go. Maybe it's in the workplace, maybe it's on their vacation, maybe it's on their mobile device, maybe it's on their laptop. But the point is, it has to be available to them at the point that they're using it. But also know that you can use a password manager to share passwords with family members or coworkers as you need. And some of these sharing tools allow you to share a password without the person that you shared it with actually seeing the password. It's also a great time to have a conversation about tools that are on their devices. Asking the user to hand you their phone and you bring them to the settings that show them how to use their organic password managers on their devices, be it Apple, Android, Windows, Linux. These all have password management tools organic to the system. Showing them that they already have some of these tools is a great way to encourage them to explore passwords and credentials without having to spend additional funds. And then ultimately, if you can have the conversation about multi-factor authentication apps and how these one-time password tools are really the way ahead, you've really leveraged your password discussion to the fullest. Now, any conversation about passwords should include password defense in depth. There are passwords that are secrets that you keep. Maybe it's something that is about your banking information, be it personal or business. Maybe it's something that you keep as a person. Maybe it's a secret that you keep as a family. Maybe it's secrets that you keep as an organization. But regardless, these are passwords that you want to protect from others. We have to remember that users are always asked to create passwords that they don't really need. So this is where you can have the conversation about lies that you tell. These are different than the secrets that you keep. You don't want to use your banking password for that one-time download from that website that requires you to create an account. Encourage them to be prepared to have the lies at the ready for these junk websites where you don't want to use one of your good passwords. This is also a great time to talk about trust. these trusts that we establish by using multi-factor authentication apps, communicates with the authentication services of where we are, what the device is, uses our device's multi-factor authentication tools. These are all great discussions about how zero trust works. And then the gold standard of any password conversation, plans that you make. What about business continuity, family continuity? You're on vacation, your passwords have been exposed, you've lost your phone, you've lost your tablet. What do you do? Having a plan for resetting passwords or accessing your passwords or erasing passwords from devices that you've lost. Today we talked about creating a complex password using my rule of fours, four-letter words and maybe 4 types of gibberish to create a long passphrase that's memorable and something that you can take with you. But you can see how that opens the conversation into password managers, password authentication apps, and this general conversation about credentials. If your team needs help with digital literacy skills, reach out to us and let us know what your problems are, and we can show you how we can help or refer you to someone else that can. We'd love to help you. Thanks and have a great day.